Prepare to be captivated by the business story of the week, hosted by me, Shaheen Shan. Join us on a journey through the twists and turns of entrepreneurial triumphs and setbacks. Immerse yourself in the narrative and witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. This is Business Story of the Week. Welcome to Business Story of the Week. He is back. Here's an interesting thing. We often talk about value in businesses. Like, you think you're working and you're working for a salary, and that's really your job. Even if you own the company, that's your job. You're getting a paycheck. You're still selling your hours. Where the true wealth comes from in this country is from selling your company, or if you're thinking big, taking it public, when you have an exit. Today with us, the man is back for a second time around, Chad Price, author of his latest book, I believe just recently dropped, Preparing for Battle: How to Overcome Life's Challenges, Unlock Your Full Potential, and Build a Successful Business. Chad is a serial entrepreneur and one of those guys who's living the dream. Chad started his first company from next to nothing, Kettlebell Kings, and he took it in 2012 to a multi-million-dollar company, an Inc. 5000 international company, and in recent times sold it for an 8-figure plus exit. Chad is doing that thing that all the Amazon gurus, the Amazon guys on the internet are talking about. Chad has actually done that. And he's done it by what he preaches: hard work, discipline, things that he gained from living the life that he has and having the discipline that he has in the fitness world. I always like to say, when I look at athletes, I always know that we have something in common because you share discipline. Without discipline, no athlete is worth anything. Chad owns the lifestyle brand Life Grows Green, which promotes health and wellness by using raw elements from nature. Life Grows Green brings more knowledge and awareness about the benefits of nature and how hemp and cannabis can help us daily. Chad's latest project, like we've been talking about, Preparing for Battle, is his debut novel. It covers a wide range of topics, from developing a winning mindset. We talk about this a lot. Mindset is everything. Change your frame, change your mindset, and anything is possible, to creating a solid business plan and building a strong team. One thing I know Chad knows from all the companies that he has is how important team building is to navigating the challenges of a modern day business. Preparing for Battle, his book, is a valuable resource for anyone who's looking to unlock their full potential and achieve business success. Chad, welcome again to the show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the great introduction. I feel like I'm getting pumped up for a boxing match right now, so let's do it.
Let's get pumped. You know, we know the business landscape is always fast moving. I know you're one of the guys I look to when I'm like, hey, what is next on the horizon? You know, what's next going to happen in Amazon? What's next happening in e-commerce? What's next happening in health and wellness? And I know you're a forward-looking guy, but one of the things that people don't think about often is the fact that business is war. And I love your title, Preparing for Battle, of your book, because it reminds me of Sun Tzu's book, The Art of War, which was such an important book for so many years, that traveled throughout Asia. Even the Romans were supposed to have gotten copies of it, and it changed the face of warfare. How do you see business as battle?
No, I'm glad you brought that up. When people ask, people always ask the question, like, what's your favorite book? And I'm more of a concept guy, so I like books like that just give you concepts to work with and, to try to weave into your life. And when I wrote the book, Preparing for Battle, that's kind of what I was trying to do is, I'm trying to get you mentally prepared for the difficulties of starting your own business. I think a lot of people come from a place where they've been somewhat sheltered from the harsh realities of the business world because you're in an employee situation and you get a paycheck every 2 weeks regardless. Well, when you switch to an ownership role, it's going to be quite a different battle, and kind of making those difficult decisions and conquering those battles will be the task of the day almost every day.
Yeah. So does business always have to be a battle?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on how you frame battle. I think some people look at battle as a bad thing, and coming from sports or coming from my background, battling was just part of life. If you want to get better at something, you're going to have to go out and battle and hone your skills. Well, if you're a business that, in my case, selling fitness equipment or selling health and wellness, whatever you're trying to sell, you're trying to get better at that on a regular basis. And there are other companies that are also trying to get better at that. And you clash over which customers are going to go in which direction. So inevitably, it becomes a battle because you're fighting for the customers and you're fighting to be an authority in whatever space you're in. So regardless if you want to join the battle or not or see it that way, there are people out there who envision it just like I do, and they are battling with you whether you like it or not.
All right, so stepping back into it, Chad, tell us a little bit. Let's go into your personal story a little bit, the abbreviated version. Tell us how you went from nothing to multimillionaire, and what were the lessons that we find in preparing for battle that brought you there?
Well, I mean, I think it's the entire journey of my life is what kind of prepared me for, and I think that's what I try to talk about in the book. Is I think everyone's, especially if you come from a sports or a competitive background, you have all of these kind of, I call them micro battles that you've gone through, and you've had a chance to battle and win or lose and come back and fight again another day. Well, a lot of those lessons I saw throughout business, and it took us a 10-year journey for us to actually sell the business and grow. We grew it from scratch to the sale. So culminating that really put it into perspective for me that, this started when I was in high school. This wasn't something that I just came up with when I was 21. When I was in high school, I was preparing myself mentally for some of the challenges that were to come.
Mindset, you would say.
For sure. I mean, and not just the mindset. I think it's also the lessons. For example, I talk about in the book, the first real branding exercise I saw was my high school coach coming in and changing the team motto, the team culture, the culture of the staff at the school we were at, the culture of the community around the school, really getting a brand started to me that didn't exist before he got there. The players were we were good players, but we had good players the year before that weren't able to achieve the highest goals that we wanted to achieve. And it's because they really didn't have that structure that was needed. And so things like that for me, they help me now understand how important culture and branding is. And I try to bring that kind of same winning mindset and winning culture, not just into myself, but into the brand itself.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like when I give talks, and I sometimes will just give a weekend of my time to go talk to underprivileged schools or, a school that's, primarily, in the inner city with mainly minorities. And the first thing I put up on the board, on the chalkboard, is if one of us can do it, any of us can do it. And I do that to motivate these kids to realize that, yeah, you're coming up in a shitty situation, right? You've got the cards stacked against you. But here's the good news. There's at least one of us, and he's standing in front of you, and he made it despite that. So what do you have that I don't have? And if there's anything, how do you get it? Now, I know in your book, you talk about this. The book is very compelling because it's broken up into 3 sections, and each section tells a story, and you talk a lot about it. But my question for you is, do you feel because of race that you had to overcome things like that in order to achieve the level of success that you did? And does race still play a part in your life as you see it as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I mean, I think you would be, kind of.
Let's speak up just a little bit, Chad. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no problem at all. I think you'd be kind of naive to think that basically race doesn't play a role in our lives or in society. But, I look at that as just another challenge. I cannot go out, my job is not to go out and disband or get rid of race relations and try to create world peace. My job is to create the best company I can on the playing field that's in front of me. And so while I'm doing that, I have this motto that I kind of call displacement. I think I'm supposed to displace those people that are more racist and backwards thinking. And, I think there's a a culture or there's a generation of people who come from the internet age, let's say, if you will, and social media that want to see a better world than the previous, let's say, generations might have thought possible. So I just try to be one of those people and lead companies in that direction. And if I find something that's getting in my way, I get it out of my way, regardless if it's race or whatever kind of discrimination it may be.
Yeah, it's interesting because people often come to me and they're like, "Hey, you being a minority and you've reached this like huge level of success." They're like, didn't you ever have to deal with that?" And I'm like, "Not really." And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because it wasn't in my frame. It wasn't in my mindset." Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Doesn't mean people aren't racist as heck. But the fact is, like you were, if you're focused on what you're doing, and somebody comes by and they're racist or they don't like you because of your color, your creed, or your religion or whatever, dude, wouldn't you agree that's their problem, not yours?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that for me it comes easy because I played sports. So I was, plenty times on the field, and it's 50,000, 100,000 people in the stands, and yes, people will scream racist comments. I'm not going up to the stands to concern myself with them. Like, go back to your bitterness and good luck with life. I'm trying to be the best person I can be and trying to be the best leader for whatever my initiatives are. And, whether that's a football game and winning that game, or if it's taking my company to what I deem to be successful or a global brand, that's what I'm going to do. And anything that's counter to that is almost just a distraction. I don't allow that energy to kind of soak into myself or soak into the culture that I'm creating.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I feel like business is like that too. Business and sports are very similar in that way based on what you're saying. That's one of the things that I gleaned from your book because, we say in martial arts that truth is found on the battlefield. And it's really like, it doesn't matter what race, religion, color you are when it's, mano a mano, hand to hand, or we're on the mats training Brazilian jiu-jitsu or whatever it is that we do in kickboxing, Thai kickboxing. It doesn't matter what you are. What matters is your skill set, your mindset, and how well you're going to perform. So at the end of the day, battle really, like you're saying, one of the reasons, would you agree that this is my question. So would you agree that because it's all a battle and a battlefield, that being prepared for finding that truth on the battlefield could be super meaningful?
Yeah, and I think everyone, their skill set and their strategy for kind of overcoming obstacles is going to be slightly different. So I think getting yourself ready to overcome, let's say, the most difficult obstacles you've ever, had to overcome, it's no different than if you were going into the military. I'm sure you'd be training before you got there. If you were going into, collegiate sports from high school, you would understand, hey, I need to take my athletic abilities and my strength levels and my speed levels to another higher place than I currently am. And I think it's the same thing for business. When you decide that you want to lead a team of people in doing something that's never been done before, creating a brand or establishing some multi-million-dollar entity, that's going to be something that requires a new level of grit that you're just not currently at the pace to do. So I started looking for, like for myself, I started looking for how do I prepare myself for that? How do I put myself in positions, whether that's with the company I'm working with now, whether it's the research that I'm putting in behind the scenes. I'm trying to gear myself up to be able to handle that new load that's coming.
I love that. I love that. And we talk about this a lot too in the different programs and courses that we do, in the coaching and mentorship programs that we do. I tell people objective, strategy, tactics, which I got from my friend Wayne, which is really, what's our objective, right? Because I know you're a master strategist. You consult with businesses all the time on strategy. So what's our objective? What are we trying to do, right? Same on the field. What's our strategy to make that happen? And the tactics, the tools. What are the tools that we have to achieve that with? Why don't you give me the most important lesson you would say? And I want people, don't give away the whole book. I want people to pick up the book. I want people to read it because this is a really impactful book. I know it's on Kindle for nothing, $2.99, and you can get it on Amazon. I want you to leave us with a couple things that people can implement right now, tips from your books. Before that, can you tell me, Chad, are you going to be doing an audiobook on preparing for battle?
Yeah.
Will there be an audiobook?
There will be an audiobook. I wanted to release it, let it come out on Amazon, get some real customer feedback. And then if I decide to not to make any kind of changes or anything like that, I'm gonna go ahead and do the Audible version. So we're working on it right now, but I'm kind of letting it sit out there for a little while and get some real world feedback right now.
Yeah, guys, go out there, grab a copy of Chad's book. It just dropped, Preparing for Battle. And I tell people this all the time, please, guys, don't take this the wrong way, but don't hire a fat trainer. Don't hire a fat trainer. If that guy, don't hire a broke financial advisor. Don't do it, right? Chad is one of those guys, one of the few that has actually done it. He's gone out there with nothing and created a multi 8-figure, 9-figure in the future company and sold it. So you want to learn how to do it. It's a very low cost entry to get that information. I know Chad charges tens of thousands of dollars for an hour of his time, but it's taken him months and months, over a year, to create this book. And you can take advantage of Chad's knowledge and experience for like $3. I'm sure Chad's not getting rich from this. He's doing this to empower people. So check it out. Go on Amazon, look up Preparing for Battle by Chad Price. Chad, what do you want to leave us with?
Well, I think I kind of talk about this in the book. I think there's a lot of people out there who, struggle with the idea of starting their new business or kind of making that transition, whether it's out of college and starting your new business or, leaving your W-2 and starting a new business. And really, I don't think there's a right way to do it. I think every single person has to just create a strategy and prepare themselves mentally. So I try to equate it to sports and working out. I think you need to start working out and getting yourself in that mental space for having the ability to make more decisions in a day than you've been doing. Having the ability to work longer hours, work more intentful and purposeful with the things that you achieve every day. So if I could give anybody advice, I think that's what I try to get across in the book, is to just really put yourself in the place of a real leader and someone that, people want to follow into battle.
I love that. I love that. Put yourself in the mindset of a leader that's getting ready to go into battle. How poignant, how important, especially now at a time where people feel in business and life and politics and everything that they're in a lack of direction and things are divisive. If you just put yourself in that mindset, that leadership mindset, that you're preparing for battle, that's a game changer. And if you want to learn how to do that, how do people get the book and how do they connect with you, Chad?
I'm on all social channels. You can find me Real Chad Price. And then you can check my website out, chadprice.com, on LinkedIn, Chad Price. And then the book's available on Amazon right now, and you can get it through Amazon or my website.
Guys, check it out. Preparing for Battle with Chad Price. We're going to have a copy here, a signed copy that we're going to give away. So this show is brought to you by there goes my brain. This show is brought to you by Podcast Cola. We're the leading podcast booking agency in the country. If you like this show, if you liked our superstar guest, Chad Price, check us out. We can get you on great shows like this one and others. It's podcastcola.com. For the first 10 people that reach out to us here at Podcast Cola, we are going to give you a signed copy of Preparing for Battle by Chad Price. Reach out to us at Podcast Cola, mention Chad Price, and we'll do that. Also, make sure you go on Amazon. The Kindle book is just under $3 now. I don't know how long it's going to be that low. I think Chad's just doing a promotion there. So make sure you grab that. If you're a paperback or hardback person, get it on Amazon, get it for your organization. This is a book that'll prepare you to get out there. And again, very low stakes for the value that you get. All right, Chad, honored to have you on. I definitely want to have you on again in the next month, in fact, to go over some of this stuff and to talk a little bit more about the book. So we're going to do that if you'd entertain being on again. Loved having you on, and thanks again for being a part of the show.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.